This guy wanted to commit a double suicide with his lover, Sakchan, by planning to jump into the river. As they look at the river, Sakchan grabbed the guy's hand and tied their hands together with a red thread, saying, "We'll be together forever." Unfortunately for them, before they could commit suicide, a truck came out of nowhere and killed them both. Later, the guy woke up in a church. He didn't know where he was. As he looked around, he thought this must be the world we go to after we die. Then, a voice came out of nowhere and said this was not the world after death. The voice belonged to Annette, who introduced herself as a guide for those who arrive in this world. She told him he wasn't dead. Instead, he had been chosen and transported to a world shrouded in darkness called Zauberberg, so he could become a hero and bring light to it. When the guy hears this, he laughs and immediately drinks the poison. Annette is shocked when she sees this, so she uses her detoxify skill to heal him. The guy tells her that she doesn't need to do that because he just wants to die. This makes Annette angry. She wants him to become a hero and fulfill his great mission of saving the world. The guy doesn't care and keeps eating the poison, which confuses Annette. She tells him he shouldn't do that since he was chosen by this world. Hearing this, the guy then gets up and asks, "Who asked to be chosen?" Annette then asks him if he wasn't visited by a truck. It turns out that the truck was the selection truck from the other world, the one that brought him here. Among the many people in his old world living unhappy lives, only those struck by the truck get to redo their lives in this world. Since the truck came for him, it proves he was unhappy in his old world. Luckily, he was given the chance to leave his previous life and come to this world. Hearing this makes the guy angry. He gets up and tells Annette that the truck didn't save him. Instead, it interfered with what was supposed to be the happiest moment of his life, his double suicide. He tells her that, who is she to decide if someone is unhappy or not? Annette is still confused and doesn't understand why he is upset. She then checks his stats, thinking it will change his mind if he sees his own stats because after all, every human that brought to this world is granted the ability to wield superhuman powers. Little did she know, as soon as she opened his stats, she can't even believe her eyes since all she can see is, he only has 1 HP, 1 attack, 1 defend and 0 MP and has no skill. As the guy about to leave the church, Annette stops him, saying he were right. He must have been brought to this world by mistake since he doesn't have any fighting skill or ability to survive in this world. He is not fit to live here. Hearing this, the guy smile and tell her, that sounds like his life. He is branded a failure no matter what world he lives in. Hearing this make Annette sad since she can't do anything to help him. She then try to stop him from leaving because in his current state, he is too weak. He would be killed by monsters the moment he stepped outside. The guy doesn't care about that and tell her, not to worry about him because he wants to die anyway. This, make Annette realize that he is different from other. It turns out that Annette was once proud to guide Otherworlder. Meeting Otherworlders excited her. Unfortunately, as time passed, she starts to get tired of praising the hero since all of them are so arrogant. She had closed off her heart and became someone who just flattered heroes repeatedly. But after meeting him, she realized he was the man she had been waiting for. As he was about to leave, Annette tried to stop him and said, "At least take a profession before you go." The man smiled and replied, "I was born to be a writer," before leaving. Later, as he explored the area, he heard a voice in his head telling him that he had leveled up for discovering the new place. This annoyed him because he was suffering from a migraine. Suddenly, he heard a noise behind him. When he turned around, he saw a girl being caught by a tree monster. Mistaking him for an adventurer, the girl asked for his help. However, he didn't say anything. He just stood there, smiling and thinking that dying women are certainly beautiful. Then he asked her if he could write a novel based on her. Hearing this, the girl became angry and told him to hurry up and save her. Since he was so weak, all he could do was try to jump to reach her. This disappointed the girl even more, and she asked him if he had a sword or spells or something. As soon as she finished asking, the monster caught him, making the girl even angrier, saying he was so useless. When the guy was caught, he didn't care at all. Instead, he looked at the girl with a smile and greeted her, saying, "Nice to meet you." The monster then used its skill to drain the life force from both of them. Noticing this, the girl felt hopeless because they would die in a few more minutes if they didn't do anything. The guy told her that was good news and asked if she was excited too, as he happily accepted his death. Unfortunately for him, as the monster absorbed his life force, it got poisoned and died instead. This made the guy very disappointed, but the girl was thrilled. She looked at him, wondering if he had poisoned himself on purpose to kill the monster. She thinks he is very strong but pretended to be weak. Meanwhile the man is feeling depressed, thinking this always happens to him. He wished for death, but he keeps surviving. So far, he's tried to end his life 5 times, and it has never worked out. Seeing how down he is, the girl wants to help him because he saved her life. She reaches out her hand and asks for his name, but he doesn't tell her and want her to just call him Sensei. As she grabs his hand, Sensei notices a red thread in it, reminding him of Sak-chan, the girl who was also hit by the truck. Thinking that she might have come to this world too, Sensei suddenly feels motivated and finds a reason to live. He wants to find Sak-chan and then commit double suicide together again. Later, Sensei goes back to meet Annette and ask about Sak-chan. Seeing him visit her again makes Annette really happy. But her happiness fades as soon as she notices another girl standing next to him. Sensei then tells Annette that he has a question for her, which makes her feel excited, thinking she can finally be useful to him. Unfortunately for Annette, all Sensei wants to know is where Sak-chan is. This shocks Annette as she thinks to herself, another girl? The scene shifts to the Sensei, who is feeling depressed again because he has no idea where Sak-chan is. The girl tries to cheer him up by inviting him to visit her hometown. She suggests that since her hometown is far away, they should stop by the castle town of Wrath first. As she reaches for his hand, Annette, who seems jealous, stops her. Annette then tells the girl it's improper to hold a man's hand in public. The girl gets angry and asks Annette why she even came with them. Annette blushes and says nothing, which prompts the girl to tease her, asking if she's in love with Sensei. Embarrassed, Annette tells the girl that her intentions are not impure. As a clergy member, she feels responsible for protecting this weak otherworlder. When the girl hears the word otherworlder, she's shocked and remarks that it's no wonder Sensei is so strong. Annette, confused, calls the girl a liar, insisting that Sensei isn't strong, which is why she has to stay with him to protect him. The girl angrily responds that Sensei managed to kill a death tree with a single attack and saved her life. This makes Annette even more jealous, thinking to herself that they must have grown close already. While they are arguing, Sensei looks around and finds a coffin. As he lies down on it, he tells them to wake him once they arrive in town. Seeing this, they both are amazed that Sensei can sleep on a coffin, but he responds that it's actually a very comfortable bed. He then says goodnight to Annette and calls the girl Tama, which makes her angry since that's not her name. Noticing the girl's frustration, Annette laughs saying, "He called me by the right name." After that, Annette grabs the robe and tries her best to pull the coffin. On the way, Tama and Annette did their best to pull the coffin. However, when Tama reached her limit, she suddenly snapped and told Sensei to walk already, but he didn't respond. Seeing this, Annette tried to calm Tama down. After they arrive, Sensei is impressed by how good the city looks. Annette then takes him to meet the king. The king, who introduces himself as Thomas, King of Wrath, along with his daughter Charlotte, is happy to see them. Believing they must be exhausted from their long journey, the king allows them to rest in the castle's bedchambers. On one condition, they must share their travel story with him. Hearing this, Sensei laughs and asks the king if he should tell him what it's like to sleep in a coffin. This shocks the king, who wonders if Sensei is trying to threaten him. Wanting to change the subject, Annette comments on how beautiful the princess is, which makes the king proudly smile as he reveals that the princess is getting married soon. The king then calls 2 men into the room. The first man's name is Gomez, a valiant warrior, and the second is Otto, a wandering minstrel of love. Since the king is now too old, he wants his daughter to marry soon, but she can't choose between the two. So, the king asks Sensei for advice on which one would be more suitable for the princess. Sensei doesn't care, saying, "How should he know?" He tells the king that this is a very important decision for his daughter and that he shouldn't be asking a traveler like him. The fact that the king is even asking this question shows he's a terrible king and unfit to rule. This shocks everyone. Annette and Tama quickly apologize to the king, but the king reassures them that it's okay. Meanwhile, the princess keeps staring at Sensei as he leaves. At night, while Sensei is gazing at the sky, Annette asks if he's having trouble sleeping. He replies that he never sleeps well, which makes Annette feel sad. She then asks him who Sak-chan is, but before he can answer, Annette notices a tail sticking out from Sensei's bed. Furious, Annette pulls back the blanket, revealing Tama happily sleeping on Sensei's lap. Annette quickly wakes her up, scolding her for being shameless, but Tama says she couldn't help it because it was so cold. While they argue, Sensei walks outside, looking for some time alone. There, he meets the princess, and as they gaze at the beautiful lake together, Sensei suddenly expresses a desire to drown himself. This shocks the princess, who asks if he's so troubled that he wants to end his life. But he tells her she shouldn't worry about him because, in his eyes, she has more troubles than he does. The princess tells him that she still can't choose between Gomez and Otto. It hasn't been long since Gomez arrived at the castle and he already become the most dependable soldier. The king also trusts his strength, so the princess feels it would be best to choose him. However, Otto is her childhood friend. Whenever she felt down, he would write songs and sing them to her. The princess is unsure who to choose. Sensei then tells her that she's a kind person who cares for her father, unlike him, whose life has been a continuous series of troubles. He's attempted suicide, even double suicide, numerous times, greatly inconveniencing his father and family. But he never asked anyone else to decide how he should live. Before leaving, he tells her she should decide for herself what to do and figure out what she truly wants. The next day, the king happily summoned everyone to meet with him again. He told them that his daughter had finally chosen whom she would marry and wanted Sensei and his friends to act as witnesses. However, to the king's surprise, when he asked his daughter to make her choice, the princess grabbed Sensei's hand and declared that she would commit double suicide with him. This shocked everyone. The princess told Sensei that after speaking with him, she thought about everything all night and realized something. Whenever she felt down, Otto would write songs and come to sing them to her. But she also noticed that he came even when she wasn't feeling down. He even came to visit her last night too. In short, he seemed to have a lot of free time. The princess thought that Otto didn't love her, he just wanted someone to perform his newest songs for. As for Gomez, she couldn't marry him either because he smelled terrible. Yes, that right, this guy didn't shower at all. Hearing all of this, the king got angry, tried to scold her, but she scolded him back, questioning why he would force her to marry someone without considering her feelings. She didn't even want to get married in the first place. She felt that no one cared about her feelings except Sensei. This made Sensei smile and agree to her request to commit double suicide with her. As they talked, Gomez revealed that he was actually a servant of a wrathful Dark Lord. His plan was to become king of the kingdom and then offer it to the Dark Lord. Gomez believed that his disguise had been exposed by the princess when she mentioned his bad smell. However, the princess was unaware of his true identity. With no turning back now, Gomez decided to kill everyone. Meanwhile, Tama tried to wake Annette to join the fight against Gomez. As Gomez defeated all the guards, Tama had no choice but to fight alone. Otto used his song to boost Tama, but nothing happened because he was using a new song he had just created. This guy is useless. As Tama fought Gomez, she was struck by his horn, causing her head to bleed. Realizing she couldn't win, Sensei asked Gomez to kill him and the princess first, as they both wished to die. This made Gomez laugh. He said that if they were so desperate to die, he would grant their wish and kill them first, then proceed to kill the king, burn the city to the ground, and wipe out every last citizen of the kingdom. As Gomez charged at them, Tama and the king tried to stop him but were too slow. As Gomez got closer and closer, the princess changed her mind, telling Sensei that she no longer wanted to die. She wanted to live and protect the people of her kingdom. Sensei smiled and looked at the princess, saying he always knew she was a kind princess. As his partner in the double suicide, she simply wouldn't do. With that, he pushed her out of the way. Just as Gomez was about to strike him, Annette woke up and created a barrier to protect him. She told Sensei she wouldn't let him die as long as she was by his side. The barrier was so strong that it managed to break the monster's horn, creating an opening for Tama to land a decisive blow and defeat the monster. Afterward, Tama and Annette expressed their gratitude to each other, while the king apologized to his daughter for not considering her feelings. The princess forgave him, and from that day on, she decided to take matters into her own hands and become a queen. On the way to another city, Tama wondered if the princess was doing okay, but Sensei reassured her that she didn't need to worry. After all, it was a decision the princess made for herself. Sensei thought that while drawing women are beautiful, women who stand up for themselves are also beautiful. As they travel, Tama suddenly gets tired, so Annette decides to take a break and eat. Sensei asks Annette if she has any boiled tofu. Annette takes note and promises to look for it in the next town. Damn, I wish I had a girl like that. Annette looks at the map and tells Tama that it will take a few days to reach her hometown, Grun. But before that, she wants to make a stop at Zwiden Temple. Normally, otherworlders arrive at one of the 4 temples in their world and depart for the Dark Lord's castle from there. However, Sensei's goal is not to defeat the Dark Lord but to find Sakchan, so they need to visit the 4 temples to gather information. Hearing this, Tama grows concerned, thinking that if they're unlucky, they might have to travel all over the world. But Annette doesn't see any problem with that. To her, she doesn't want Sensei to fight the Dark Lord at all, she doesn't want him in danger. Tama smiles and teases her, saying she must really love Sensei. Annette tries to deny it, saying she just wants to help Sensei. After all, he's the one who showed her the light when she'd lost hope for her job. Tama then asks Annette what she will do if Sakchan turns out to be Sensei's lover. This makes Annette cry, saying she'll have to confirm that first. After that, Tama makes up her mind and tells Annette that she'll travel with them, but only until they reach her hometown. This annoys Annette because she wants to be alone with Sensei. Tama then wonders if Annette is still allowed into the temple after abandoning her job to come here like that. Annette reassures her not to worry, as the head priest of the temple they're visiting is a dear friend of hers. Also, she didn't leave her post without notice, she sent her familiar to deliver her resignation. Little did she know, the familiar she mentioned actually came back without completing the task. This makes Annette really angry. As it flies around, Sensei takes a liking to it and names it Melas, which makes the familiar really happy. While Annette is praying to the gods to forgive her for leaving her post without notice, a dragon suddenly appears, scaring them. Fortunately, just as the dragon is about to attack, it's stopped by a mysterious girl. She tells them to leave immediately, but after learning that Sensei is an otherworlder, she changes her mind and decides to kill him. She unleashes a powerful attack, but Annette barely manages to block it. As the girl gets closer, Annette and Tama try to get up to protect Sensei. The mysterious girl then uses gravity magic to pin Annette and Tama down. Seeing a mark on the girl's neck, Annette realizes that she is actually a wrathful Dark Lord. As she is about to kill Annette and Tama, Sensei steps forward, saying that they have nothing to do with this. He tells her that if she wants to kill someone, she should just kill him. Without hesitation, the girl strikes him and reveals her name is Waldelia. As she is about to leave, she is shocked to see Sensei stand up and walk toward her. Sensei tells her that she is consumed by powerful hatred and that her eyes look incredibly sad. He wonders what happened to her. Startled, Waldelia quickly leaves with her dragon, wondering who Sensei really is. After they leave, Melas takes Sensei, Annette, and Tama to the temple to be healed. A few days pass, and once Sensei finally recovers, the first thing he does is drink poison, which angers Tama. According to Sensei, he did it because he recovered too quickly, which made him feel unwell. Meanwhile, Annette is grateful to her friend Isha for healing them. She asks Isha about Sakchan, but to her surprise, Isha doesn't know anything either. Isha then questions why Annette quit her job and is now traveling with an otherworlder. She's not happy about it, as she believes there's no such thing as a decent otherworlder. After all, they are given divine powers, known as gifts, to defeat the Dark Lord, but most of them call these powers overpowered skills, and use them for selfish purposes. As Isha talks, she is interrupted by another otherworlder, who tries to impress them by showing off his skill, which produces an unlimited amount of currency. He promises to buy them anything they want if they go with him. However, Isha isn't interested and throws his currency at his face, scaring him off. Isha points at him and tells Annette that most otherworlders are like that. But Annette quickly defends Sensei, saying he's different. If it weren't for Sensei, she wouldn't be who she is now. Sensei changed her fate. While she's talking, Sensei comes over and asks Annette for money to buy more poison. Without thinking, Annette gives him all her money, which makes Isha think that Sensei has already ruined Annette. Isha then wonders what ability Sensei has. Annette happily tells her that Sensei doesn't have any, yet despite that, he risked his life to protect them against the wrathful Dark Lord. Isha is shocked to hear this because the wrathful Dark Lord was supposedly destroyed by another otherworlder 7 days ago. Elsewhere, a man sits in a chair, staring at the trapped wrathful Dark Lord. It is revealed that the girl they met earlier is actually the daughter of the wrathful Dark Lord. At the inn, Annette and Tama are happy that the wrathful Dark Lord has finally been defeated, but they wonder who the mysterious girl they met earlier is. Tama also wondering, if the Dark Lord was defeated 7 days ago, then why Sensei was summoned into this world, even though this world no longer has a Dark Lord. While they're talking, Sensei suddenly rips up his paper and lies on the ground. He wants to write about the events that have occurred since he arrived in this world but is struggling to find the words. When he met Waldelia earlier, he felt a strange surge of creativity that made him want to write about it. Seeing this, Annette is happy and asks Sensei how he described her in his writing, only to be disappointed when he tells her he didn't write anything about her. Annette then suggests they go out into town to relax and buy something useful for Sensei. Not wanting to see him get hurt, Annette buys a very expensive set of armor that can deflect novice-level spells. Tama thinks it's a bad idea since Sensei can hardly move in it, but for some reason, Sensei loves it. He finds the armor very comfortable. Annette then puts a helmet on him and tells him not to go anywhere while she and Tama go shopping. As time passes, Sensei is surrounded by children and even runs into Isha, who is passing by. She asks him what he's doing there, and he replies that he's seeking new excitement. She moves closer and tells him that Annette will be staying with her because she believes being with Sensei will only make Annette unhappy. Isha wants Sensei to dissolve his party with Annette, but Sensei refuses, saying it's up to Annette to decide if she wants to stay with him or not. This angers Isha, who tells Sensei she doesn't trust him because he's an otherworlder. As they talk, another otherworlder named Suzuki and his friend gather a crowd and announce that the wrathful Dark Lord was defeated by a group of otherworlders, so there's no longer anything to worry about. The people are thrilled by the news. Suzuki then smiles and declares that from now on, the otherworlders will rule them. He orders everyone to kneel before him. As the crowd grows confused, one of the otherworlders spots Annette and tells Suzuki that she is the one who attacked him. Enraged, Suzuki approaches Annette, demanding to know how she dared commit violence against an otherworlder. He then places his hand on her head, preparing to use his power. If you come this far, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Thank